pop art. And before we start this video, I feel like I should be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the pop art movement. I certainly have pop artists I like. Keith Haring, Klaus Oldenburg, Roy Lichtenstein. But I do feel like, especially when you don't like something in the art world, that it is even more important for you to appreciate the merits of that art movement and to find positive contributions that art movement has made, regardless of how well you feel like the art movement as a whole has represented those values, or how much you feel like it might be kind of infiltrated by celebrity artists that don't have much to say. Jeff Koons. This is a Jeff Koons call out. I don't appreciate your tomfoolery. But with that being said, and with me calling out a man who has enough money to crush me in the court system without blinking, let's talk about pop art. I feel like a depressed newscaster with this script. All right, so pop art. What is it? First thing you need to know about pop art is it happens around the same time as abstract expressionism, after World War II, but it is very much a reaction to the abstract expressionist movement. For the pop artists, there is something deeply unsatisfying about the complete abstraction that you find within the abstract expressionist movement. And they will react to this by creating art that is all easily recognizable objects, a lot of them ready-made or mass-produced objects. And we'll talk more about that mass production in just a moment. You see this most easily with the giant sculpture work of Klaus Oldenburg, in which it's all everyday objects, and with the use of the celebrity by artists like Andy Warhol, who certainly comes to encompass what the art movement is. But the big thing to talk about when you talk about pop art is the role of post-World War II American mass production, the role of consumerism and celebrity in this new mass-produced, industrialized world that especially America finds itself in after World War II. No artist better represents this idea than Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol is the pop artist. He is also the celebrity of the art movement. He is also someone that is deeply comfortable with mass production. He has a great quote that I'm going to paraphrase, in which he says, a wealthy man buys a Coke, a celebrity buys a Coke, a middle-class person buys a Coke, and a homeless person buys a Coke. They all get the same product. And Andy Warhol really grabs onto this idea that in this post-World War II industrial boom, everything, including art, can be mass-produced for the new consumer base that comes after this industrialization. Andy Warhol, in keeping with this idea, a lot of his work is easily reproduced. He does a lot of commissions. Even at the height of his celebrity, he still takes commissions. And a lot of times the commissions he takes, the work he does, isn't even done by him. It is done by his apprentices in something that he calls the factory. So if you get an Andy Warhol piece, it might not even directly be done by Andy Warhol, which links the pop art movement to an earlier art movement of Dadaism, which also seeks to question what does the artist actually do in a world where so much is easily mass produced. What is the role of the artist? Is the artist the one that comes up with the idea? Is the artist the one that executes it? How much does the artist actually have to create the artwork for it to be art? And then finally, art as a commodity, something we've already touched on a little bit. Andy Warhol, once again, really pushes this idea. He makes his art readily available. He makes a lot of his art reproducible and affordable on purpose. because he really believes in this new idea of a post-World War II industrial boom and this idea that everything is commodifiable, even celebrities themselves. Most notably, this idea is shown in Marilyn Diptych. And the pop art movement, as vapid as it might seem at some points, is also incredibly self-reflective at points. If you fast forward a little bit, you'll get Narcissus Garden with Kusama. She creates a pop art performance installation in which people can walk up and purchase a piece of this artwork, which is all ready-mades. It's all reflective, mirrored balls. And this piece is, I think, really deeply reflective and almost critical of the art movements at that point, because now that art is a commodity, any piece could be a commodity, and it's all about owning the piece rather than appreciating the piece for what it is. I think it's almost a little harsh on the people that purchase it, because all of a sudden they're a part of the art movement, but in buying it, they're taking the art movement. It's a very interesting piece. It's a very interesting self-reflection on an art movement that sought to say something about consumerism and in turn became easily consumable. That's it. Maybe I'll fade out with Ongo Gablovian, the art collector. I'm sure he would be charmed to know that I did that. See you next time.